Well, it seems like the Game Award is around the corner, and many had deemed it a complete joke. Apparently. Hello 大家好，这里 Ame Gakita. So obviously today in the chat we are going to talk about the Game Award and how it seems like many people had deemed it a complete joke, and as you guys see the title, it is not wrong, it might be rigged from the get-go, but we can't really like highlight, say like is it rigged or not until the end result, considering that many of the lists, when you kind of look at issue like why like Rev Say Desu talk about the issue of like the casting vote issue, the list itself, there may be people who is going to vote for the least favorite game along the line. It's because there is a freaking list that they say that there will be like game journalist site like IGN or Polygon or PC Gamer, where recently they have been in so-called under fire for talking about propaganda in game, all these things, and it's considered a good thing for gamers along the line, and many people think otherwise. So when you have most of the vote come from those kind of problematic game journalist review side, obviously it will get people worried that what would the end result be, because they make up 90% of the list as compared to 10% who is people who is going to vote. So even if there's like 1 million people voting for it, 10 million people voting for it, all those people cannot have a huge say because they only make out 10% of the vote. These people are the majority, they are making the so-called 90% of the vote, so they are considered that they represent the gamers along the line, which is a whole lot of BS at this point of time, because if I won't call that rip, I had no idea. But again, we still have to give the benefit of doubt whether we all like it or not, because considering at the end of the day, it is the important thing is that the end result. So if the end result is according to not what people would expect, obviously there might be some sort of rigging within the industry. So at the end of the day, I would just say that Game Award is just basically a joke. So the thing is, right, when that have kind of like happened, you can't really like say is it really a complete joke, considering like the best mobile game that include like Warframe Wave and Xenoblade Zero, both which are considered new game released this year. And even so, other games like Pokemon Trading Card Game quite recently, AFK Journey also recently, and another interesting game that a lot of people tend to not notice, again, will actually kind of happen also within the list of the game of the year, is basically a mobile game called Bellatro. If we're gonna say like there is no other Western game, unless we are considered like Canada is part of the Westerner, yeah, I think Bellatro will be considered one of them because it is technically under Canada developer. So the thing is, right, that game is basically, from what many people say, is a good game, but even so, the issue is that the best mobile game itself is appearing in the list, like Warframe Wave is part of it, Xenoblade Zero is part of it, but when they go to the game of the year, they're not part of it, but Bellatro is part of it. It's like, it's kind of weird. I'm not saying like Bellatro is a bad game or whatsoever, it's just that when you consider like the list of game that is like Xenoblade Zero or Warframe Wave have their own mobile version, it still kind of like doesn't undermine that. Even like Celebrate, if we're gonna bring that in, like it's still better than half of the game. Even I love some Japanese game myself. The issue is that some of the game may be considered good, some of the game may be considered bad by many people. So here's the issue. Game of the year, it should be technically like game that released this year and not DLC or remake. But even so, those get into the list itself, and it kind of got many people debating like, should it be part of the list or should it not part of the list? And what is considered a new game and what is not considered a new game? That's the problem. So at the end of the day, it is part of the issue where is the right list that we should be drawing the line on, where is the issue on, and even if so, if people say like, oh, the whole game list itself, right, one of the game that got a lot of notification is basically the same DLC game that I just mentioned, which is basically Elden Ring. Again, Shadow of the L3 is a DLC. It is not a new game. So at the end of the day, it's really part of the thing that should we actually put it as part of the list, when it freaking make a lot of other lists like best art direction, best game direction, or best RPG along the line. I'm not even sure is it really considered RPG at this point of time, because in a way, I would call it an action game, not really an RPG game, but again, the issue is that where do we draw the line on what is defined an RPG game and what is defined a action RPG game or MMORPG game? Like, does it mean that RPG game refer to every single RPG game like MMO and action one or battle one? It's like this really an issue on where we draw the line. But Game Award really kind of like not showing the line at this point of time. They just kind of like go all in being idiotic at this point of time, which you don't hear me saying that word all the time. But the thing is, right, it's really kind of like, it really bet a lot of questions, get a lot of confusion within how I view on how the list would be. But again, we can't be sure until the end result. So the thing is, right, regardless of whether we say like what we're dating or even like the issue of like who is the voting one, it's still the end result that will play a huge part. But the issue is that why is it like and as well as many gamers are afraid of the end result is that one of the game side that is being part of the so-called the list itself, like Polygon, they have their own article indicating like, oh, there is a new snub in the Game Award because Dragon 8 is not part of the list, apparently. So one of the game that huge flop is considered made by many is not part of the list, it's not part of the game, it's not in any list. Obviously, to many gamers, it's no surprise that these games should not be part of the list. But what makes it even more concerning is that if this kind of people is going to be part of the judging cast, then obviously I'll be concerned like what kind of game will be make part of the list. They can just say that, oh, this no, and then oh no, where they say that oh, the list is not the right way list to go, and you'll be like, what? And no, we're gonna vote for it anyway. Of course, there will be other people who is voting for it anyway. I won't be voting for it if anyone are concerned, because most of the game I don't play, I can't really give my take. I prefer to give a take when the game I play. Like best mobile game between Wolfenstein and Xenoblade Zero. Which one do I prefer? Obviously, it's one of these two. I can't really say my result. But at the end of the day, it's really kind of like concerning that when you have a lot of the list seems a bit questionable, and a lot of the things that like the casting vote is already like which make up 90% itself is already also on the questionable point. Obviously, you'll be wondering like, should you going for it? Like, should you listen to it? I think I myself might come up with a joke award, a joke game award along the line, and might be coming out with better list than this. But who knows? I mean, like maybe that will be a thing that I'm planning in near future. But the thing is, right, at the end of the day, the whole issue about this whole list itself is that we are still concerned. Many people are concerned. I'm concerned, but we can't be sure. We can't just say like, oh, we can talk about it, we can vocal about it, but we can't like jump the gun and say that it is going to be ripped from the get-go. The best way to consider it a rip from the get-go is only at the end result. So even if we know about it, even if people talk about it, it is best to give it a wait and see approach to see the end result, and then we'll conclude from there. If some of the list itself we do not agree with, let's say for example like Wolfenstein and Xenoblade Zero is one of the best games. Oh no, way they decide to give other games like say Battlefield because it's a Western game to them, then it will be a problem because they will be saying hey, that's where we have to like, there is a rip along the line, even though Xenoblade Zero and Wolfenstein is part of the chat. So I'm not sure about how it will be play out. It is still something we have to give it a wait and see. But at the end of the, like I mentioned, at the end of the day, we won't be know. But one thing that have recently raised out recently, which I want to close that out before we end the random chat, is that apparently one of the spokesperson, Geoff, if that is how his name is being pronounced, is that they are trying to so-called register the game award, the trademark under the patent and trademark office, which is kind of ridiculous. Because the thing is, right, the game award is technically an award that is given to many people. It is technically a name that is not considered like registered at all, because you can't register a name itself. But again, we can't be sure whether can they register the name, because sometimes the trademark office just kind of like take some money and they will just do it anyway. But again, it is still not sure. But at the end of the day, if anyone, like if they manage to like agree and make sure that the trademark go through, and they're trying to say, hey, you know, you love the game award, right? Like how about you just shine and say that, hey, most of you want the game award to be a trademark along the line. The issue is that most of you might not be aware is that way, if in future anyone who mentioned the word the game award or talk about the game award, they are supposed to be paid for. So even if any content creator or YouTube or anyone talk about it in a bad light, they can just copyright strike it. That's the most concerning thing. But again, we won't know until it happened. But that is one thing that we should be highlighting. We should be trying to prevent it from happening, because even when even if we don't try to prevent it from happening, and it did happen, and they managed to trademark it, yeah, the catastrophic at the end of the day will be crazy. But I don't know. I mean, like, I will let you guys go and check out the video yourself to listen from JT-san and Rev-san about it to know more about the situation. Link on the description below. But other than that, if at the end of the day, whatever I say in today's random chat is technically my speculative thought. It's just a random chat. Whether you agree or disagree, whether you got your own opinion, your disagreement or whatever, write in the comment section below. We can discuss it further. If not, if you do like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe for more random chat, where I talk about stuff that sometimes makes sense, doesn't make sense, totally random at time. But the one thing I hope is not random for you guys is have a nice day or night. Bye.